Beer and chicken, two of my favourite things in the world. Now, when you combine their flavours on the barbecue, you end up with the most succulent and delicious chicken imaginable. My beer chicken recipe takes the classic roast to the next level, and it couldn't be easier to make. The secret to beer chicken, that as the bird cooks on the barbecue, the beer boils and releases steam. This ensures that the chicken won't dry out, giving you a juicy roast. Now, as the chicken is cooking on the inside, the heat from the barbecue is gently crisping up the skin on the outside to perfection. Now, for our roast, we're going to use a 2-kilogram chicken, which is big enough to serve up to 6 people. We've already made a seasoned butter by combining tarragon, lemon zest, salt and pepper, and then mixing it with the butter, rolling it into a tube, and then popped it in the fridge for a couple of hours at least so it firms up. We're going to put some of the tarragon butter between the skin and the flesh of the chicken. By placing butter under the skin, we're basting the chicken, keeping it lovely and moist. Next, we're going to apply a rub to the outside of the bird. We've got a combination of garlic granules, dried thyme, dried rosemary, fennel seeds, some pink peppercorns, sugar, and of course, salt and pepper. Once that's done, all you do is lightly oil the outside of the chicken. Then, evenly coat with our rub. Now, this is where the magic happens. We're going to use a Weber poultry roaster to cook our chicken. What you do, in the little cup in the middle, fill it halfway up with your beer. Now, I'm using a dark stout, but you can really use whatever beer you want, or even something different. You could use wine or simply water with a few herbs in it. Then, pop in a couple of cloves of garlic, a couple of sprigs of tarragon. Then it's on to the fun bit. Put the chicken over the cup in the centre of our poultry roaster. Now, you need to make sure that it's stable and that it sits nice and firmly, like that. Now, to trap all of the flavour and all of the moisture inside, simply pop a piece of lemon in the top. Another great thing about using the poultry roaster is there's enough space to cook your vegetables at the same time, and they'll collect all of the fantastic roasting juices as the chicken cooks. It's cooking the Weber way that makes beer chicken possible. Firstly, this involves setting up our barbecue for the indirect heat method. This means putting the heat on either side of the fuel grate, so there's no heat whatsoever underneath where the food is going to sit. If you're using a gas barbecue, switch the 2 outer burners onto full and keep the centre burner switched off. Close the lid and wait for the grill to reach 180 degrees C before turning the dials down to halfway. Then we cook with the lid down. Now, the heat circulates around the food. Effectively, you're turning your barbecue into an oven. Finally, we're going to check that our food is cooked by using a thermometer. Now, you can use a regular meat thermometer, but to make it even easier today, I'm using an iGrill. It connects to an app on your phone and sends you an alert when your chicken is cooked to perfection. The chicken is prepped, the thermometer is showing 180 degrees C, so we're ready to cook. I'm using a barbecue that's got the Weber Gourmet barbecue system. I've taken out the central grate to accommodate the poultry roaster. Now, if your barbecue doesn't have that, sit it directly on top of the grate where there's no direct heat underneath. That means that we're not going to burn its bottom. It's exactly the same principle if you're cooking on gas. Place a poultry roaster on the grate on the unlit burner. Now simply pop the iGrill probe into the thickest part of the breast and close the lid. With the probe in place, open the app on your phone and let it know that you're cooking a whole chicken. And that's it. Sit back, relax, and wait for the app to notify you that your food is ready. Now it's time for the big reveal. Oh my word, that looks and smells amazing. Just let it sit for 10 minutes so all of those juices can settle, and then you can carve away. With a few easy steps on the barbecue, we've achieved juicy meat, crispy skin, and accompaniments that are packed full of flavour. I guarantee this will be your new favourite way to roast.